What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth. And we are back again for some more action. It's going to be another week. Let's see. Power protest and paranoia. Oh, here we go. I remember what I was looking for. Who does number 2 work for? Who does number 2 work for? Okay. Give me just a second, y'all. I'm getting my shit set up here. We are live. I'm like, wait, so why the fuck can't MAGA? What's this? Let's see. Trump never sues when he's accused of being a... Yeah, I brought that up the other day. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Come on in. We're just getting started, just getting our stuff set up. So if you want to start tapping the screen and get them likes up, let's get to 10K as quick as we can. It'll help out the algorithm if we hit the ground running. Get this show on the motherfucking road, y'all. This is a good question. Somebody shared this in the Discord. It's a Reddit post. Why the fuck can't MAGA explain why Trump never sues when he's accused of being a P3DO? I actually posed that the other day on the show when Elbass brought up the claiming that Katie Johnson was actually a guy from Jerry Springer. What's up, Donovan? What's up, man? Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So this guy files a federal lawsuit or a lawsuit against Trump, making all these claims, and it's a guy breaking the law to do this, yet Trump doesn't sue him. Right. Yeah. Good morning, SLT. What's up, y'all? Let me get through some of these comments here. Good morning, y'all. It was a decent 2 days off I spent yesterday playing a video game called The Last Caretaker. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's pretty slick. Let's see. Yeah, good morning, SLT. Michael Bernauer. Very interesting point. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't prove anything, but it's certainly a good question. They're all in bed together. Yeah, including Bubba. He's right there in the middle. It's because if he sued, there would be discovery in court. That's right, SLT. That's right. Now, Donald Trump did do a 360, so I just released the files. Let's release them all. My first thought was the FBI that he had tasked right at the beginning to go through and redact all of his shit. They finished. And that's what he was waiting on this whole time. He probably went through there and had him remove every Republican name of anybody that supports him and left only the Democrats. Of course, with that fucking... get them all, investigate them all. And Larry Summers, he's now, stepping back from the public eye. Fucking piece of crap. Orion, what's up? So, yeah, I actually had an Israeli flag up originally because this morning Cloudflare went down for hours. Like, I couldn't get Canva to work. That's how I make these, through Canva. I couldn't get an updated thing, so I was just going to put the Israeli flag up there. I wonder if that would trigger somebody or make them think that we're like, yay, Israel. And then when they get up here, oh, yeah, Israel has a right to exist. And then let them have it. That would be funny. I mean, they lie all the time, so why not? Orion says, I know who. What do you mean, know who what? I don't know what that... Netanyahu is a dangerous human being. That's right. Is the motherfucker even human? I mean, we there was theories about the lizard people there for a while. Fucking, he's got like 3 eyelids. You guys have seen those videos, right? Remember when they tried to say Bush was a fucking lizard person? There's like video of his inner eyelid. Oh, the prompt. Oh, right. Sorry. Derp. I said derp on my part. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, we're just getting started, so we're just waiting for everybody to show up. Let me go ahead. I want to play this video. I actually ran across this morning. I'd seen it before, but Marjorie Taylor Greene actually posted this, and I thought it was worth playing because people really need to listen to some of these women, you know. I mean, all of them really, but let me get my shit over here. All right, let's listen to this real quick. It's kind of sad.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
Worldwithoutexploitation.org. And there you go. I mean, this shit, you know, it just 5 administrations. Crazy. You know, oh, it's fake news. It's fake news. Unless it fits their agenda. And then they're like, oh, it's absolutely true. These people are, yeah, fucked up. Let me get through some of these comments here. I don't think I have anybody requesting yet. Let me see. Nope, not so far. But you guys are welcome to jump up if you'd like. I wanted to play something else because after I saw that, I started digging into Israel a little bit, and somebody had shared a TikTok video with me, and it just fucking is so disgusting to me that we're even having to deal with this in this country. It's weird, honestly, but just watch this clip. I'm not sure when the video was taken, but I know it was recent. Watch this fucking guy. Listen to what this fucker is saying.
Male T here in Israel, and as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you.
I served you as the mayor. This motherfucker is in Israel saying, I served you as the mayor. These cuck bitches have bent over, lubed themselves up proper, and told Israel to shove it in. And we keep seeing this over and over and over again. Like Ted Cruz, that little shit bag. I ran so I could be the greatest defender of Israel. What is going on? Right? And so I took the reason why I was late, because I was taking screenshots. Because, oh, that's conspiracy. Oh, that's conspiracy. You can't say that. That's anti-Semitic. And so I took 2 seconds out of my fucking day, and I already knew it was true, but this is just to prove to everybody that what I'm saying is true. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring these gentlemen up real quick, Donovan and Weeby. But if you guys wouldn't mind, just hang tight, because what's up, man? Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind, just hang tight until I get through these screenshots to make my point. Because there's something going on. I mean, you guys saw that video, right? With Eric Adams, right? Fucking wild, isn't it? Served you as mayor. Fucking cocksucker. Anyway, so let me pull up these screenshots here. The first one is to so everybody can understand like what's going on here. So I Googled list of companies that own nearly all media. Okay. So we got Comcast, Disney, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Paramount Global, Sony, and Fox. Now Discovery is now owned essentially by Paramount. So those two are together. So then you take a moment and you start looking up, well, who's the CEO of these? So we look up, here's the CEO of Comcast, a guy named Brian Roberts, right? So, okay, well, who's Brian Roberts? Well, let's see. Roberts was born into a Jewish family in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right? So let's go down the list. Disney.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
Who's the CEO of Disney? Let me pull it up. Walt Disney Corporation, Bob Iger. And so you just do just a little fucking search. Robert Allen Iger was born to an Austrian Jewish family. And then you go to Warner Brothers. Okay? And keep in mind, Jewish people make up 2.4% of America's population.
You sound like Germany.
Warner Brothers, David Zaslav. Okay? So you look up David Zaslav. David Zaslav was born into a Jewish family in New York City's Brooklyn. And they're all in the Northeast, too, for the record. And then you go to, who's the other one? Who am I missing? We got Brian Roberts and Lachlan Murdoch. The Murdoch family owns Fox Corp, right?
Yeah. BlackRock.
Yeah. They're very, very, very pro-Israel. John Stankey owns AT&T because wasn't listed as one of the 6, but AT&T does own a lot. John's
last name.
Yeah, John. It's little Stanky, and he, he's was part of the Jewish Federation. He's part of the ADL, part of AIPAC.
I don't think people want to have that conversation, man. That's the scariest conversation.
Well, and so you look at Paramount Global. We all know the Ellison family, right?
Yeah.
David Ellison.
Collins family. Father I tell you, there's been.
Well, and then you take this information where they're own essentially the media. Now these white people own fucking BET even, guys.
Oh my God.
Do they really?
Yes.
What?
I wouldn't be surprised.
And so there's, if you've never heard of this, like Ice Cube has, I think it was Ice Cube. It came forward and he was like, the fucking executives at the top were the ones pushing this. Fuck the police, N-word this, hoe bag that. And they wouldn't publish anything other than that stuff. So like,
right.
You get your gangster rap in the 90s. So
Creates
if you want, if you wanted to make it, then you had to do what these people who were leading these things were
all control.
Would allow.
Was the destruction of the black man since the 90s.
Right. And so they distributed this. They will, fucking tell you essentially, put your women out there as if they're hoe bags, put the men out there as if they're criminals, and we're going to push this shit for decades.
Yep.
Music is the strongest thing that leads us.
Nucleus family, you're
the culture,
morality.
We trust music more than our friends, man.
Yep.
The only thing we go to.
I mean, people don't realize what sound does in audio. So if you're listening to certain types of music for years on years on years, it affects you.
Yeah, I mean, you can be listening to, some fucking Rage Against the Machine or whatever, and you start, start getting, amped up. I remember.
How much of us listened to that before we were going into a sporting event, right? We'd listen to Rage Against the Machine and go play sports or something.
Remember, I think it was Woodstock '99. You guys ever seen that documentary? Where they put Limp Bizkit up there and Korn, and they did them like back to back to back, and people went absolute fucking ape shit. Started destroying everything. Like yeah, the music from the 60s is certainly different than the music from
The vibe was,
the fucking,
yeah.
90s. So, obviously this music can cause, a whole set of, issues culturally and otherwise.
I think we've all got a point where we even understand harmonics and certain sound frequencies have an impact on us. And
Sure.
that kind of stuff,
And can be used in therapy to help you if done correctly.
or against you, right?
Or
correct,
against
or against you. Yep, 100%.
So-
Yep.
And that's what I mean. Like if they were to show what's actually going on in these streets, because I watch gang shootings on Instagram, and let me tell you, it's a fucking shocker to watch these kids unalive each other the way they do. If they were to show that on national news every day, people would be freaked out.
Oh, we'd be calling
can
for
easily
we'd be
show it.
screaming for an end of that music.
They could
They'd
easily
be-
show how much these kids are just
Well-
living off culture and hurting each other, man. And we
So
allow
I don't
it.
want
We
to. I
allow
don't
it.
want to miss the point here. The point, and guess what you guys are saying is true. But the point is that
Yeah.
this group of people that now owns essentially all
Right.
of the media in in this country, and they do because it goes to the big six, as we pointed out, and they're controlling everything that you see, everything that you hear. And why is it that it's this one fucking group of people?
I mean, dude, you sound like Germany. They were 5% in Germany. Only 5%, 500,000 people. I don't know where the 6 million comes from. Out of that 500,000, they ran the media, they ran the banks. I mean, there's such a small percentage.
That's
and
what
Mr. Adolf said. As soon as you find out what I was fighting for, transgenderism, Freemasonry, and the Illuminati, he literally said those three things back then. He goes, then World War III will begin when you find out. And look at the rise
Wait, that he
at
was-
people starting to look at the statistics
Now,
of this now in
see-
America.
Well,
He said he was fighting for them. Sorry,
No, he's against it. He said, when you find
against
out I
it.
was fighting against because that's
Yeah,
the
I
books
listened
they
to
were
his
burning.
speech in English, and it's
Dude,
wild.
the books they were burning were Hirschfeld. Transgenderism was huge in Germany, out of
Right.
this small percentage, and I had no idea. And that's what they were fighting. It's almost like they moved to these countries and try to fuck things up with money and gay stuff. And it's like, are they really bad? Do we have to ask the question? Are they really bad?
Well, so
I
all
don't
of
think
that
it-
stuff
can I-
aside, right? All of that stuff aside, I'm not going to go back to history because if this is the case, they've wiped all this shit from memory. They memory hold this shit any goddamn way. So if you look back, you're not going to be able to say, oh, this is for sure what happened because
Right.
it's been so fucking long. What I can say is what we're seeing today is a problem. And when you ask, who is the deep state? I don't know. Maybe it's the people that own all the media that have the fucking mayor of New York City saying this.
Yeah.
Let me play it again for the people in the back that
There's
didn't hear.
rituals, bro. They have to say
Listen
certain things
to-
on live. There's rituals,
Listen to this shit. This is wild.
My male team here in Israel, and as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you.
I mean,
That's more concerning. The brother thing is concerning, even.
it's well, I served you as mayor. No, the fuck you didn't. Like when they all got upset when Mondani was like, "I'm gonna stay here in New York. I'm the fucking mayor of New York. Why would I go to Israel?"
Well, you
oh
know where
my
he
God.
went
Oh
when
my
he was
God.
first elected, right?
Uh-oh.
No.
They didn't like
Mondani,
that video
I believe,
you just
went
played.
to Tanzania when he got
TikTok
elected.
just gave me a warning. A visibility
seriously?
warning. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure enough. Hold on.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, what
Your
is
live
this-
is not eligible for recommendation because David Ellison has purchased TikTok and now we have controlled YouTube. Oh wait, that's not what it said. I misread that. Hold on. And restricted because Weeby TikTok and does not comply with our community guidelines.
It does
Weeby,
not say that.
Weeby, it does. It did. Yes, it did say that.
I love how I am singled out by this fucking company.
Well, you were talking about the old stuff, and that's why
Oh,
we
you're
don't
right,
we
you're
don't
right,
need
you're
to
right.
go down that rabbit hole
Yeah, they hate
because
that. You're right,
because
you're right.
we're dealing with what we're dealing with right
Exactly.
now,
and I
and we
just think
don't
the correlation
need
is unbelievable.
So you're telling me
fair,
that
But
I
we
won't ever
don't
bring
need
that
to
up
do
again.
that.
Jesus,
Yeah,
I hate
you
that.
don't even need to talk about it because
Yeah.
you can talk about what's happening right in your, in front
Can
of
I
your
have to ask a
face.
question here?
Sure, what's up?
So you guys are essentially claiming that there are a group of people of the same descent who are controlling the media because it just so happens that people who are in charge of these things are of that descent. So they're all in cahoots somehow because of that? Like, is that the claim, basically?
Sounds about right to me. Yeah.
Say what?
Okay.
Okay, so what is your question? Well, hold on. I don't really understand your question. Can you just
Well,
ask
saying,
it?
is it a coincidence that all of the ones who run our media are Jewish?
Yeah, I was trying to avoid any sort of like filtered or whatever that they were.
I unfiltered it for you. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so
Yeah,
look.
I mean, essentially, you think that the Jews are connected and working to destroy Western civilization, right? Is that essentially?
I don't know about destroy, maybe control.
Okay, I think he's asking me. I think he's asking me.
Yes, sir.
Are you asking me or are you asking me?
Yeah, sure. Anyone who would really want to answer. I mean, I know y'all are kind of, I assume, on similar alignment on that, but I could be wrong too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I already answered. Go ahead, liberal.
Yeah, so look, it doesn't prove anything, but when you take the totality of all of these things going on, I mean, it's very suggestive, is it not?
I mean, I agree that the circumstances, I mean, it's a weird thing that they happen to all be Jewish, like that's undeniable, but I also think that
real quick, Weeby, it says if I remove you that the thing will be removed.
Yeah,
and
I'll go have a cigarette, buddy. I appreciate your time.
I've lost half my numbers already, so
no worries, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you talk about something else then to avoid that altogether, or
talk about something else? What do you
well,
mean?
I can address more of the specific question about who I think the deep state is. Like, I just don't want you to keep getting binged for talking about Jewish influence in American society. That's obviously a controversial topic.
Well, I mean, I think it's the more important topic. Would you say?
I'm willing to have the conversation as long as you're comfortable with the live.
Yeah, well, the problem that he was having is that he was talking about the old shit. You know,
see.
He was talking about
the man himself.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he made some pretty inflammatory statements. You know, I would say so.
Well, okay, then we can continue. So, yeah, I mean, do you think it would be easy to keep a conspiracy like that under wraps with? I mean, think about all the people who are not fully in line with them that still operate and have control in our society today. Like, I mean, I can think of all the Irish and German immigrants in this country who have Fortune 500 companies, so on and so forth, you know?
Well, I mean, think about the politicians, and the Democrats and Republicans both can seem to agree on one thing, and that is the perpetuation of the Israeli state.
Yes.
Well,
and that's my thing.
They can agree on enriching themselves as well and being partisan, petty people and not focusing on working class issues.
Well, what other countries do we have that the United States has states that says that if you boycott this country, you cannot work for us? How many other countries have we done that for?
Yeah, not many. I'm sure. I don't know.
Never.
None. We don't even do it for ourselves. You can criticize this country and still work for this
state. You can burn
state.
our flags in the streets for this country.
But you can't boycott this one country?
This one Israeli country. Netanyahu. Am I allowed to even say his name? I don't want to get
Well, you can call him Milkowski, his family
name. Do you
name.
think then that perhaps the
Republicans don't support Israel anymore?
That's true. Do you think the influence then of those groups is, you know, out of like more of their personal individual preference of American foreign policy, not some sort of like collective conspiracy to overthrow America or take over America, take over the West? You know what I mean? Like, how come they can't just be Americans who also have Israeli heritage who then want the United States to have a favorable relationship with Israel like we have with many other countries on the planet?
I mean, they could do that, but they aren't doing
Nobody
that.
wants a fair relationship with Israel.
Sorry?
Yeah, nobody wants to have a relationship with Israel anymore after what they're doing.
It's controversial. I will not deny, especially with younger conservatives. It's very
It's not controversial. It's actually very straightforward what Israel is doing. They're unaliving a bunch of innocent kids. It's not very controversial at all. You can
that
just look up what they're doing.
statement is, a bunch is pretty inflammatory, so I don't really know how you.
Wait, how
quantify
how many is a bunch?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. It's inflammatory. It's not really doesn't quantify anything. So.
It's
Okay, well, let me
of babies.
You can just say that children are being unalive.
We're not
which is
talking
true.
about adults. We're not.
I know, but
You know
I
what my
understand that,
biggest
dude. But
concern
like,
is, guys, is that
Tens of
as
thousands of
Americans,
babies. Do you
we
get
yell
that?
about that. And
Okay, so
Where are you
wait.
defending
Okay, so you don't think that a bunch of children have been unalived as a result of what Israel has done?
Who, me?
I think no. He's asking me. I think.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think children have been unalived. I don't know if a bunch is like an accurate adjective to use there or what, but I'm not denying the fact that there have been children unalived because of the war that's ongoing in Gaza.
Okay, so is 20,000 children as of 2023? Is that a bunch or not a bunch?
Yeah, I'd say that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me.
I need to hear American men outraged at American society that we allow ABs. You guys know what I'm talking about, by our females, but then we scream about it going on in Israel. We need to look at our own borders with that stuff and see what we're doing in our own country.
I think the
We're
men
worried about
in this
children.
country who don't like Israel
Yeah, we agree with
also are
you. So
very
let's stop giving them
anti-AB.
money.
Yeah. So this was as of in 23 months, 20,000 children.
Yeah, that's quite terrible. I will not deny that.
It's quite terrible, but I still support Israel, right?
I do still support their war against Hamas. Yeah, I think that is
It's
going to be a
not
net
against
benefit
Hamas.
to the Palestinian
That's
people.
propaganda.
Well, did
It's
you-
against innocent
If you say
civilians.
so.
Did
Okay,
you?
what's the percentage of Hamas unalive to civilians? Do you know the ratio?
I do not actually. I do. I know that the ratio is the best in urban warfare history. That's the only fact I know about that. But I can look up the exact ratio if you want.
Yeah, it's almost like 1 to 1,000. So every one Hamas that they unalive, it's like 1,000, maybe 200 babies, maybe like a couple hundred women, maybe some little children, and who knows?
I'm sure your numbers
That's
are
how
very
it works.
accurate. Did you get them from Al Jazeera?
No, it's just simple fact.
Well, here's the
There you
Times
go.
of Israel. I just want to point out.
83% of unalives have been civilian.
I don't know who.
17%
Nobody, dude,
have been
nobody
military.
defends Israel anymore. What's your point? You're the only person. who
5 to 1
defends Israel.
ratio.
What's your
Well,
point?
so a lot of people do defend Israel, and I would argue that those people go out of their way to try and take your life down. I have had several come in, and they'll bring in like 12 bots, and they'll just mass report. And I think they're actually doing it from Israel, because this is why Netanyahu wanted so bad to take over TikTok, which he was boasting about in a meeting. Because when the Oracle gets it, if they haven't already, they'll essentially control it too. So they have all of our big media corporations. Now they're taking our fucking social media stuff. What information do you think you're going to get?
I just can see the fact that it's that ratio is very high compared to any other urban combat zones. I'm not going to deny that either, but I think that it's for a multitude of reasons, and the main reason is not because Israel is targeting civilians specifically. It's because Hamas embeds themselves in civilian areas and intentionally uses their people as human shields to
So if they're not targeting
protect
civilians,
themselves and
why-
to protect the
yeah.
narrative that they want to spread
So
about
That's
Israel.
interesting.
Let's go. That's interesting that you say they're not targeting civilians when hospitals are completely flat. Like the whole city.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like
residential areas.
Did you hear what I said or
hospital-
no?
Anywhere where a civilian could be is flattened and completely destroyed.
Do you know that
So
there
how
are
they
actual
not
tunnels
targeting
underneath the
civilians?
hospitals
Um,
that
Yep.
are for
Actually,
sure-
evidence for that.
yes, and let me. I'm gonna pull up a video real quick.
That's how the WHO describes.
Because you may not know this, but I'll just let Ehud Barak speak for himself as it relates to those, the headquarters under the hospitals when they just had to get them. Let me cue this up real quick because there's a lot of stuff at the beginning. Here we go. Just listen.
Of the IDF. Prime Minister, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Can I just start by asking you what is your view of whether your government, your military, has done a good enough job of proving their claim that there was a major command center and bunker under Al-Shifa?
It's already known for many years that they have in the bunkers that originally was built by Israeli constructors underneath Shifa were used as a command post of the Hamas and a kind of a junction of several tunnels, part of the system. I don't know to say to what extent it is a major. It's probably not the only kind of command post. Several others are under other hospitals or in other sensitive places, but it's for sure had been used by Hamas even during this conflict.
When you say it was built by Israeli engineers, did you misspeak?
No, decades ago we were running the place. So we held them. It was many decades ago, probably 4 decades ago, that we helped them to build these bunkers in order to enable more space for the operation of the hospital within the very limited.
And then when you dig into this, what happened was when they had taken Gaza prior, back in the, 80s or whatever it was, before they quote unquote gave it back, they went and built those command posts under the hospitals for their own military. They did that. So when you talk about these command posts, they were hiding under the hospitals and stuff. That's what Israel does. Israel puts its missile batteries near residential areas, near hospitals. We've got video of them doing the very thing that they complain that Hamas is doing, allegedly.
What's wrong when they do it too? How about that?
I mean, if it's a problem, then shouldn't it be a problem for Israel also?
Yeah, and I bet if it was, but I'm sure that the Israeli civilians are not complaining about airstrikes in their homes
Think about it this way. They made those bomb pagers and walkie-talkies, remember?
Yep.
They sat on them for 10 years. So what's to say that they didn't create those bunkers under the hospital to sit on them, to give them an excuse? Because what they found was they thought that they were using it for military stuff, but they weren't, actually. And they took those videos in there, and they weren't being used for what they claimed, but they still destroyed the hospital anyway. These people just wanted to go in and destroy everything, and that's what they did. It had nothing to do with H.
I don't know what hospital are you talking about specifically?
Well, that was Al-Shifa Hospital.
You're saying that there was no military installations underneath that hospital?
I don't know specifically to that one. I just remember
that's what you
seeing.
said, so that's all I'm trying to clarify.
Well, they said it about every hospital.
Well, okay, could that not be true?
Well, Israel went in and built it themselves. So Israel builds it, and that's okay.
So Israel built infrastructure in Gaza. The Hamas people
for
took
themselves,
it over and used it
for themselves,
put civilians at risk, and then they attacked.
No.
They used the support and infrastructure built by Israel then to attack Israel, and then when Israel retaliates, they claim that they're attacking civilian infrastructure when they're clearly using military.
No, that's not what happened. Israel built it for their own military purposes, and then they, quote unquote, gave it back. So then when they finally found an excuse to go in and completely demolish the area that they've wanted since they got there, they used that as a justification to destroy the entire building and unalive anybody that was in it, including people who were being treated medically.
Well, if it was true that it was being used for that purpose, then...
It wasn't. I already said that.
You just said that you couldn't verify it. So that was kind of the point that we were just talking about.
No. I don't know of the video. I don't know which hospital that they went into, but I have yet to see a single video of IDF soldiers going into the underground bunkers that were under a hospital that were being used for military purposes. I haven't seen a single video showing that. Have you?
Well, I will say that according to my search here, it does appear that there's no verifiable evidence that it was being used as military installation. Al-Shifa, the one you were talking about.
Exactly, but they kept saying it. With every hospital, they said the same
But
thing.
okay, Israel still maintains that they were using it as such. But
They
there
lied.
has also not been
Israel
able any Western media to
lies.
verify one way or the
Guess
other.
what Israel also said? Oh my God, they went in there and decapitated these babies. They went on about that for weeks, didn't they? And it was that was
I'm sorry, I was reading this a little bit.
They claimed that H group went in there and took off the heads of babies and graped babies.
At the hospital?
No, on October 7th.
Oh, you're saying that didn't happen?
Yeah, correct. It was a complete and total fabricated lie.
Oh, well, see, I have seen some videos of that actually happening. So maybe you're wrong about that.
No, I'm not wrong about that.
Okay,
but
that's
we
fine.
do know
I can't
of
find the videos
babies.
for you, but
We know
I
of
have
20,000 children that Israel has unalived. We know of
those are
babies
predictions,
who end
right?
up with pieces of metal that came out of an object that was fired by an IDF soldier. We found those inside the heads of babies, execution style.
Okay.
Hundreds of them.
Can I just say one thing?
So it's not only the
can I say
fact
one
that
thing?
Israel does it, it's that the H doesn't. And so what? You're saying that H is better than
Did I ever say
Israel,
that?
or? No, I'm just trying to figure it out. Like,
Did I say that?
no, that's exactly, you did not say that. I just asked a question. That's all.
Okay. Why ask a question that I've never even implied? I never said that.
I did think you were kind of implying that. That's why I asked the question.
Well, that's because you make excuses for everything that Israel does, and I don't.
I mean, I've acknowledged the fact that they're not. I mean, dude, that's terrible stuff. But like, I don't know. I suppose that I still think H is like quite a much worse alternative for the people in Palestine. So if you're truly trying to have a Palestinian state, you're going to have a strong Israeli presence to deter any sort of T activity from occurring in that area. You're also going to need strong Saudi and Egyptian and Jordanian presence, and like Lebanon needs work, Iran needs work, Iraq needs work. I mean, you need strong Syrian influence too. Like if you can get Syria to be a bit more chill and assimilate to a more rules-based order, you don't have to get them into Western values, but like these things are crucial to peace in that region. It's the kind of chaos that exists now.
You know what's
whether
crucial
it's
to
starting
peace?
or sustained from one side or the other is not a long-term option. And so
You know what's
I mean, you
crucial
have to
to
trust
peace?
a powerful state to be able to control and cultivate the area. That's going to ultimately lead to the most peaceful option.
Do you know what's crucial to peace in the region?
And buying in from all sides.
No, it's to tell the Europeans to get the fuck out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And Robert,
Tell those
thank you.
Europeans to get the motherfuck out of there and go back to the countries from which they came.
Good point.
The Europeans in Israel, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I don't really know much about that phenomenon.
And what I'm going to tell you is, if you look
Yeah,
at
I'm looking it up.
if you look at pictures of Gaza, right?
It's scorched earth, bro.
It's completely flattened.
It's scorched
the entire.
earth.
So when you see, they're targeting everything. They're not just targeting. So they're targeting literally everything moving. So they're
It's like
targeting
World War-
huts.
That's called carpet
hospitals,
bombing,
everything.
guys. Look up carpet bombing. That's what they're doing. It's called carpet bombing. Look it up. It's an indiscretionary, the worst way you could approach an airplane, airlines, and bomb.
Yep. Gaza's
Carpet
completely
bombing.
flattened. There's nothing left in Gaza.
Scorched earth.
How could
If
they
you
not
have
be
your war,
targeting
you ain't got to
civilians?
go scorched earth on the entire civilization there. Have your little war, fine, go ahead, but you're going to scorch earth everybody? What the F?
Okay,
That's a
so
complication.
yeah, so I mean, we're kind of getting off of the point here anyway, because we can go back and forth about what Israel's done to Gaza and all that stuff. We ultimately, most of us know what they're doing, but I'm more concerned with how they're controlling our country.
Exactly.
That's my concern. It's
So,
very, very
do you
concerning
think-
to me.
Do you think that perhaps in a kind of geopolitical sense, having allies are important? Yes or no?
Yes, but that your argument might actually make sense if Donald Trump cared about allies, but clearly he didn't because he has destroyed our alliances around the world, and he is creating more enemies. So if that's the logic, hold on, I don't know who's trying to talk, but I was talking. I don't know what allies you're talking about. I assume Israel, but if allies were important, then why would Donald Trump sit there and fuck all of our alliances up? Why?
Hey, I don't want to debate Donald Trump. Yes, I agree. There's no reason. Yeah, why would you fuck with our allies? 100%. And why do you isolate countries like India, who are clearly trying to align with us and can be used as a strong bulwark in the region? 100% agree.
Yeah, and why not the guy that has brought us into wars over the last 30, 40 fucking years?
Who, Nettie? Or
Netanyahu.
Yeah. We're like his
why not that
puppet.
guy?
We're like his puppet bodyguards or whatever the F,
exactly. They use the United States
align with Israel. I don't understand.
Listen, okay, I'm going to show you this clip. I'm going to show you this clip real quick.
How much treasure has been lost for Israel?
Here, let me show you this clip
in Afghanistan because we were attacked, and I know you think that Israel has something to do with it, but I'm telling you, so did our government.
Wait, who's attacked?
Too.
You ever seen Loose Change?
The United States of America?
Wait, no. Who? Okay, hold on. Everybody's talking. Robert, are you the pro-Israel guy? Because I haven't been paying attention to the box.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
All right, watch this video.
What to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers, that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time, but we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. X. Exactly. Very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. And what we
So he's going to now. That wasn't actually the video that I meant to play. I meant to play another one of him since 1990s, telling us, "Oh, this country has weapons of mass destruction. This country is going to have enriched uranium in 2 weeks." Like he said this like 13 years ago. 2 weeks. It's going to happen in 2 weeks. Talking about Iran over and over and over and over and over again.
He said it half a dozen times, like Donald Trump's health plan.
Is your claim that Iran was not trying to develop a nuclear weapon?
My claim is I don't give a fuck. Iran should get a nuclear weapon because they're the only country over there that I don't seem to have any fucking problems with, except this country run by this evil motherfucker Benjamin Netanyahu seems to have a problem with. I say I hope they get a fucking nuke.
Iran's attacked United States bases before, so.
You mean in response to being attacked?
Yep.
Yes, you fucking listen to what you just did.
What?
You skeezy little fuck. Iran has attacked U.S. bases. You omitted the fact that was in response to an attack, unprovoked attack, by this fucking fat orange fuck. You purposely omitted it, hoping nobody would point this out. Don't do that. That's called a lie. And see, I just thought everybody would know the part that I omitted, but not the part that I said.
All right, I apologize. I should have.
Yeah, you did it on purpose.
Put more context. I mean, I wasn't consciously doing it one way or another.
Yes, you did.
Maybe I did do it on purpose. But yeah. So it doesn't matter though.
But guess who has attacked the United States multiple times?
Israel.
Hmm. How many soldiers? How many soldiers has Israel unalived of ours?
I am not certain.
Many. And then we covered it up for them.
How many soldiers has Iran unalive devours?
I'm not sure. In
Well,
response,
We have
there's
really been
also
in the
many,
mid. We
too.
have been in the Middle East to begin with.
no.
Well, here's the thing,
No.
right? And so, kind of in response to that video too, like I do believe in a more expansionist American foreign policy, and it's important for us to have influence in crucial areas and sectors, especially energy production. And so,
But we're not
I
the
have
one influencing
no,
people.
I
It's
have
the
no
Jewish
issue with the United States
media.
protecting our energy interests in the Middle East by meddling in affairs, especially those countries are also not good. So, like, I have no issue with taking out Saddam, for instance, or the Ayatollah. Like, I'm confident enough in my moral clarity to know that those are bad people.
Well, you don't have moral clarity if you believe what you just stated.
If I believe the Ayatollah and Saddam
Are you
Hussein are bad
religious?
people-
Let me just ask you that. Are you Christian or you Jewish?
Yes, I am a Christian.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yes, it
That
does
makes
make
sense.
I know what good
That's
and
the
evil
religion
is.
of evil.
Oh,
Yeah, it makes sense because in the Bible, it's funny because Christianity is the only scripture that it tells you it's okay to unalive babies, and that's what he supports in Israel. So it makes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what interpretation or Bible you're reading, but I don't think that is an accurate statement.
Do you think it's evil to own people?
I'll get
Yes.
You do? Okay. So
Verse
you think
3.
that that's the religion of evil? Yes?
No.
It lays out rules for owning people.
Yeah, but it also says
In the
at
Bible.
end-
I don't
You
know
guys
many
do know the
Christians who
verse-
advocate for slavery. So.
You know the verse that follows that.
The
though,
ones that had
any
slaves?
man that owns a man is going to spend eternity in damnation. You guys do know that follows that verse, right? That section.
What is it?
It's followed with that any man that does own another man is going to spend eternal damnation. So like it gives the guidelines, but then it says you shouldn't be effing doing this. Read the whole verse all the way through. It gives you that at the end.
It's multiple verses. And Jewish
can you
people, or Israelites, as it were, are not allowed to own other Israelites. Did you know that? But they can own anybody else.
What, Israelites?
Can I give him the verses, please?
Yeah.
So we have Hosea 13:16. Their little ones shall be dashed in pieces, and the pregnant woman ripped open. Then we have Psalm 137:9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Exodus 1:22. Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river. 2 Kings 8:12. Their little ones you will dash to the ground. Matthew 2:16. Sent forth and slew all the children 2 years old and under. So when is it morally acceptable to slay children 2 years and under?
If you
I don't
call
know,
them
what's-
age
what's
group,
the-
those
what's
are
the
age
context
groups,
of that
kids.
verse? You have
Those
to
are
read
age
beyond
groups,
one
kids.
line. That's kind of the point the other guy was just making.
It doesn't matter.
That's
Well,
not how you read
actually,
scripture.
I know
That's not how
what
you
he's
read
talking
scripture.
about. I know what he's talking about, and
There's
he's
no
actually
context
not
that
right
makes it.
because what he's referring to is from, I believe, Exodus, and it talks about abducting and enslaving a person, and it's not talking about people who were already slaves and were
Was it
born
maybe
into
talking
it.
about the Israelites who were slaves in Exodus?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't-
That's what I'm
listen,
saying,
it does-
bro. Like,
hold on,
you
hold on,
have
hold
to
on.
have
No
some
true
sort of
Christian,
matter.
though, just
Hold on,
follow
hold on.
Jesus.
It
know,
says
Old
2
Testament.
years old and
Look,
under.
I've got a Bible right here. We'll figure it out because I'm an
Okay, so
atheist and
what-
I know
hold on.
more about this shit than you guys do.
Well, you
The
forgot
verse
one.
says the
Hang
verse
on.
says children 2 years and under. So in what scenario, what context?
I
could
don't
it
know.
be
Read
okay to slay-
the verses in front of it.
But it doesn't matter what the context is. You can't slay 2-year-olds and under.
Well,
forgot
guess
one-
what? My point is that if you read some verses ahead, it may not be as clear as slay 2-year-olds and under. It probably is not what that is instructing someone to do. There's probably more to
what
it.
about Samuel 15:3? Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both men and women, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel. So why would infant
Is
and
that a
suckling-
commandment from God, or is that a quote of a leader?
Yeah, that's a commandment from God. God gives a commandment involving infants being killed in Samuel 15:3.
Well, let me read.
God's
Let me
infinite wisdom.
read.
I'm not sure why he would want something like that to happen, but
Somebody had
it is
brought up.
just and good. So yeah, I support it.
Somebody had brought up the part about, you know, if a man owns a slave, then that's eternal damnation. But let me read the actual verse for you. This is out of John Maxwell's version. Anyone who kidnaps someone is to be put to death, whether the victim has been sold or is still in the kidnapper's possession. Anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. If people quarrel and one person hits another with a stone or with their fist and the victim does not unalive but is confined to bed, the one who struck the blow will not be held liable if the other can get up and walk around outside with a staff. So it doesn't say anything about slavery in that instance. So if you would like to pull up the verse where you claim that it's eternal damnation, please do, because I can pull up many that give the rules on how to own a slave properly.
The first part of the verse, though, just said
kidnappings.
Yeah, and ownership that no man, the man shall be put to death if he does that.
Whether the victim has been sold or is still in the kidnapper's possession.
Well, there's also the other passage, Epstein 7:13, that cometh the orange man will kneel on the sacred ground and blow bubba.
That's funny. Anyway, that's a side point. You know, I don't necessarily want to have a fucking, you know, we can save that for Sunday, I guess. But
yeah, well, hey, on the Epstein thing though, like, that's obviously connected to this kind of deep state and Israeli control, right?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes. This is how they engage in that. This is how they get people to do what they tell them to. If
Like,
they
you
want
think that
to
he
play
has,
ball.
like-
This is how they get compromat.
You think they have like a ton of information on very prominent people, and that's how they keep them to stay in line?
Of course.
Compromat. That's what it's called. Compromat.
Yeah.
You
Russian.
can't get it. I don't
Yeah.
believe nowadays you can get into that world without dropping to your knees to the right people. You can't.
Do you
can't
feel like
get it.
Hollywood has been pro-Israel?
Yes.
Since
Hollywood
war,
just
or
seems
are
to be
they
gone
on the
forever.
leftist side of it and very pro-Palestine?
And you go to yeah, go to
Whoever pays
Israel.
them the most.
Go to Israel, and you tell me if if their policies are very conservative or very liberal.
Well, Israel's are conservative.
Yeah, and I've got to add a
So
point
free
about
healthcare, conservative.
Well, I was literally gonna say they're kind of like
trans surgeries,
they're national socialists in a way.
trans surgery,
Israel's
gay
not
marriage,
conservative. Israel has the biggest LGBTQ actually in the
ABs
world.
allowed. Hell, you can do just about any damn thing over there except get a goddamn DNA test without a court order. You can't do that.
What?
Yeah, you got to get a court order in Israel to get a fucking DNA test. 92% Polish? What?
You think Israel is a liberal country, or is it just like a Western democracy, basically? I mean, those are
Their
they can still be
policies
pretty
are
conservative
very,
and have
are
those
very
things,
liberal.
Like,
Yeah, their policies are very liberal.
I mean, I don't know about that.
Well, is universal health care, is that a conservative policy or not?
I think it could be. Yeah. The Republican Party doesn't necessarily adopt.
Listen,
my auntie could be
I'm-
my uncle, but she doesn't have balls.
I'm basing my usage of this language on an Amerocentric view of what conservatism is.
Right.
Right.
So,
To be-
no, it's
to be
saying no,
clear.
no. American conservatives do not generally believe in socialized medicine.
Right. Nor trans surgeries, nor
Right.
ABs,
Right.
nor gay rights.
Nor taxes nor taxes in general.
Right. You can't redistribute the wealth unless it's going to the billionaires, and then you can do it.
Right. I agree. I'm much more.
It goes back to the deep state. It
Populist
all
than-
revolves around, I think, a small group anymore that is in control of the world, and they're playing a smart game.
Are
So
those
hang on,
maybe
hang on,
not?
hang
Is
on,
that maybe a little too cynical?
Hang on, let me have a crack here. Look, it's not a small group. Let's be clear.
Right.
There's 2,800 billionaires in the world, right?
Right.
And so when people start pointing the finger at Hollywood, though there's obviously a lot of scumbags in these spaces, The reality is that you're talking about people with a considerable, orders of magnitude less wealth than 2,800 billionaires.
I get what you're saying. I meant like bodies wise. I meant like human being number. But I get what you're saying financially and everything else.
Yeah, I'm saying when you've got the industrial scale to be able to affect slavery and pedophilia and all the other things that they practice in, right? Then to distract that topic away from 2,800 billionaires towards a group of people who, albeit may be similar company in terms of their disgusting criminal behaviour, is also the case that they're not nearly the big apples, if you like.
Another way to play us. Another way to play us. Well put. Well, that's an interesting point.
Right, and I'll just make the last point on that, which is, it's the same thing when I hear the bullshit from the right about George Soros. I'm like, so let me get this right. There's this one billionaire guy that's offsetting another 2,800. Is that right? Is that what you're telling me? One in 2,800 he's really having that effect, is he? And it's not the other, 2,799. Really? Are you really telling me that? Surely not.
I think I missed something. I went in there to get a drink. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is restart, because after Weeby got that ding, we went from 130 down to like 50 people.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to restart. So if you want to come back on the panel, I'd love to have you back up here. So just refresh on my profile and we'll get started again.
I got to run to work, bro. Thanks for the live, man. You do an awesome one.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, we all got different opinions, but it's awesome seeing somebody open.
And like Robert, you're more than welcome to come back up too. Just
yeah, no, I definitely plan on it. I appreciate it.
All right, yeah. Let me shut it down and I'll come right back.
Yep. Peace.
All right, peace. Yeah, they fucking fucked up my numbers because of that. I'm speaking to YouTube right now. I'm about to restart. We'll get this show back again. Let's do it. All right. Rocking and rolling. It'll probably fuck it up because, like, he doesn't normally go live at this point. We'll see, though. But, yeah, it was down to, like, 50 fucking people watching. I went from 130 down to 50. These fucking... That sucks. I was a little worried, though, when Weeby started saying that about Schittler. I'm just like, oh, God. About to get my shit on a lot. Yeah, man, we were up to like 130 something, and then as soon as Weeby said that stuff and it dinged, it just went bastards. Anyway, Valara, had you had a chance to say much? Because I wasn't really watching the boxes too well. That's my bad, but so I don't know who got to speak or not.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I used to be a heavy Trump supporter, but over the last few weeks, when you actually do more research and you start looking at the facts, it doesn't do anything good for our country. It's a total shitbag. Everything going on in Israel is completely in the wrong. You can't just do that to a bunch of innocent kids. So, there's no reconciling with what Trump's doing. There's no reconciling with what's going on. The facts are he's completely destroyed the economy. He shut down the government. All these things that are going on, it's undeniable at this point that he's a total scumbag. All right.
Speaking of being a total scumbag, let me play this video. And hopefully I can find that other video I meant to play earlier. But
Valeric, if quickly ask one question while you pull it up. Would you vote for a Democrat or no?
After what Trump did, absolutely.
Okay.
Let me play this real quick. This is Donald Trump. I believe this was yesterday. It's kind of hard to hear because of the background noise, but listen.
Yeah, if there's nothing incriminating in the file, quiet.
He says, quiet, piggy, to this journalist.
Reporter.
Yeah, this is the guy we're dealing with, okay? Like, this is the savior of Israel, too, by the way. That's what they're looking at this guy as. But quiet, piggy. Like what the fuck?
Nothing incriminating in the file,
Quiet, piggy. What is the guy is just I don't get it. And couple that or counter that with this right here, this sound effect. Unalive demands presidency. That sound destroyed his presidential run. He was the front runner until he did that.
Who was that?
Howard Dean.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was a supporter of Dean even after that, but the corporate media went nuts on
Did
this
he get
guy.
scared or something?
No, he was at a rally and like it was so loud in there that you couldn't hear, and he was, giving a very impassioned speech. He's like, "We're going to go to New Jersey. We're going to go to," he's listing off all these states that they were going to take, and then he goes, "Rah!" And that was it.
People didn't like that.
Oh, they ran that shit for 3 fucking days straight, 4 days straight.
Oh my gosh, I'm 25, so I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, you go look it up, man. It's fucking wild. And then when they because the only reason that you could even hear it was because the mic. Nobody in that room probably even heard the guy because it was so loud.
Right. He just got caught in a moment of passion.
Yeah, he's like, "Rah!" Yeah, fucking nuts. Wasn't it a Dave Chappelle skit as well? I don't know, probably, because, to laugh at something like that, you have to, because that's so ridiculous. But now I may just need to restart my whole, purpose for this live. So let me go ahead and, since we got 40 people in here now and it'll climb for a little bit, let me pull up that video of Eric Adams again. That is so... I know you support Israel, but do you not see how weird this is? I think you saw the video earlier,
yeah,
right?
I did. And no, I agree. It's weird. And it is clear that the Israeli-American connection is strong and intentionally propagated. And I think that we have other countries that we have relationships with too that are of similar significance and maybe larger, but it is a weird thing how we always try to make the point. But I think that the reason we do that is because of the nature of that kind of region of the world and how important narrative is. And I don't know. I don't think that the Jewish people in Israel should be subjugated to living under extreme circumstances, just like I don't feel like the people in Palestine should be either. But I understand, again, I'm not trying to diminish the suffering that's happening in Gaza. I just think that an actual solution to the suffering is a removal of the T government that runs and influences people in that area. And if people were just, whatever you talked about, you showed the video of Bibi, if people just had a more favorable opinion of Israel, they were more willing to accept them into normal life, then things wouldn't be as bad. But dude, you have to acknowledge the fact that these people have pre-existing beliefs about Jews and the Israelis.
And see, that's what people say. That's what people say.
Unaddressable. They want to literally
That's
in
been the
their
narrative.
entire existence.
Yes, that's been the narrative for my whole life. You're right.
It's not a narrative.
No, it
man.
is. It is a narrative.
What is the Charter of
everybody? That everybody, the Charter of Iran. I don't know. Do you mean
Death
H
to
group?
America, death to Israel.
Do you mean H? Well, look at what we've done to Iran, sir.
Okay, bro. So what? They
Look
deserve
at
to
what
say
we've
that?
done to Iran. Okay, so let me get this straight. You think that it's acceptable for when Iran decides to do audits on a foreign country's company that has come in and drilled their oil, and they decide to audit that company, because this was BP before it was BP. They called it something else, like Anglo something Petroleum. And so when they decide to audit this, I think they realize, oh shit, we're going to get busted, because they were stealing from Iran. And so they do this, and the moment they do that, Britain gets with the U.S., and they come up with these CIA operations. One of ours was called Project Ajax. We went in and overthrew their fucking government. We were pushing and paying both sides of a civil war, right? Both sides. We sent in people to it was all fake. to argue this, to then move and push this and overthrow the Iranian government. That's what we did. And you expect those people to just love us? Fucking
no,
really?
I don't expect them to love us, but if they want to bring the destruction of our civilization, I'm not just going to accept that.
We have
did
been
bad things to
trying
them.
to destroy their country ever since they took their country back from our puppet. We have threatened, we have attacked, unprovoked, that country. I do not expect those people to like us at all.
I'm not okay. That's fine. And if they don't, they clearly do not. But in that, again, what are we just going to say? We're going to sit here and say sorry?
If we want Iran to like us, maybe we should stop bombing them.
Perhaps Iran will never like us.
Iran
And we just
doesn't
have
go
to
around
accept that
starting
and try and make
wars.
things different.
Iran doesn't go around starting wars. Your sense of morality is fucking weird.
Do you don't
claim
think
to
that
have
Iran-
you claim to have moral clarity, but you don't seem to realize that the person that is doing the provoking and attacking is the bad person. But you can't see it because it's your own people.
No, I'm not.
your
I mean, I'm
own
not saying
government.
anyone is good or bad. I just have interest in America prevailing. So at that point,
At all costs, no matter what. I don't see my morals are much better than yours. My morals are far more Christian than yours, and I'm an atheist.
well, I didn't answer the question for one, and secondly, I mean, I don't think that the United States is looking out for our interests in Iran and fighting regimes that want to bring the destruction of us. And you know,
We
you said they
have
don't do
no
anything.
interests.
They sponsor groups in the region to
We have no
control
interests.
and mess up global
We
economic
sponsor
trade.
we sponsor groups in their country to overthrow their country.
Yes, as we should. Literally, as we should.
And see, that is a fundamental disagreement that you and I are going to have. So we're just not going to see eye to eye on this. You
Well-
believe that we get to do anything that we want because we're America, and I disagree.
Do
But
you not
anyway,
think
so let me play
that
this
our
video.
enemies won't do, okay, I will.
Yeah. So listen.
Here in Israel, and as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you.
So you got this fucking mayor just, Mamdani took over, and people got really upset when Mamdani said that he wouldn't go to Israel because he'd stay there in New York because he's the mayor of New York and he would deal with them. You got this fucking guy who goes to Israel and is like, I was your mayor. I was there I served you as mayor, not the American people, Israel. And then I already went through the list of all these things. If you go and you Google the Big Six, and I'll put this screenshot up as I did this before. You go through and you Google this. List the companies that own nearly all the media. Comcast, Disney, Warner Bros., Discovery, Paramount. Now, Paramount and Discovery are one and the same now. Sony and Fox. Now, Sony doesn't really count because it is a foreign company. But when you go through all of them, the CEOs, Brian Roberts from Comcast, he's a Zionist. Bob Iger, Disney, Zionist. These are the CEOs. David Zaslav, Warner Bros., Zionist. Fucking Murdoch, Fox Corp, Zionist. All of our media, aside from, one of the Big Six, are owned by Zionists. And now you've got Netanyahu doing videos. I just played a minute ago, the video where we're going to take over TikTok from Ellison. Ellison's going to, with Oracle, whatever, take over TikTok. And then they want to take over X. I'm sorry, this is a fucking problem for our country. And I think, Donald Trump is even a symptom of that. I think Donald Trump is just a means to an end for them.
Well, and Ellison was one of the first billionaires in Israel with all the tech, security tech especially. Applying his wares there for a couple of decades. I mean, he sowed seeds very early on. So, of course they want him to own it.
Yeah, and this is...
I mean, it's not like that's going to make it so that anti-Israel positions aren't going to be propagated. I mean, that narrative exists because people believe it, not because they're conditioned by what they see on their phones.
Huh?
What? What, you're saying the algorithms don't have an effect on people? Is that what you're really saying to me?
No, not necessarily.
So we'll have an effect on people using their phones then.
Well, of course, it will affect, but I
Right.
don't know if it's going to be like the primary driver of narrative belief is
Well,
going to be
bullshit.
something that you see on your phone.
You understand what nudging is, don't you?
Yeah,
Sorry?
You understand what nudging is, don't you?
Like leading somebody toward a conclusion.
No, well, nudging is the technical term used in an algorithmic sense to change people's perception of what they believe by nudging them towards a particular viewpoint. You know, you're not going to drag them there overtly by hitting them over the head, but over time you can change their views considerably by nudging them. So, you know, just a little bit at a time, right? So that's the technical term they use. That's the tradecraft term that's used.
I mean, if you expose people to factual information and they change their mind, then I mean that's
No, that's a different thing. That's a different thing.
It's a full-fledged, it's not just nudging, it's a full-fledged propaganda mission, all right? So Mamdani has stated many times, which is not being reported on by you know, the Zionistic narratives, that he is committed to fighting anti-Semitism and supporting the Jewish people of New York. He has stated that as a goal. And the Zionist project, the Zionist narrative is condemning him and creating, you know, a story about him wanting to be harmful towards Jewish people. And this is repeated over and over and over again. There are many instances of people being in support of Palestine, journalists being in support of Palestine that have lost their jobs because they dare to write about that. So this is a very orchestrated attack.
And we know who's orchestrating it.
Yep.
You don't think it has anything to do with his associations, Mamdani's associations, that people derive this narrative about him maybe being anti-Israel?
No.
What associations? He's committed to supporting Jewish.
I do believe that he did an interview or a photo op with a man who is a co-conspirator or alleged co-conspirator on the September 11th attacks, for instance.
And listen to you. Okay, so let me point something out. You're trying to connect Mamdani in some way to 9/11. That's what you just that's what you just did. Yes,
Just
the fuck yes.
anti-Semitism or
No, that's what you
anti-Israel.
just did. And what we can't do then is bring up the fact that 5 Israeli people were busted celebrating, high-fiving, hooraying, clapping as they watched the towers burn. People called the police because they were like, holy fuck, there's these guys in this van that are celebrating this. And when police pulled them over, they were all Israeli people. And it turned out they were doing an intelligence operation, but their goal was to monitor Palestinians in New York City. That's what they claim. And so if I bring that up, I'm an anti-Semite, but you're going to sit here and try and connect 9/11 to Mamdani because of connections? That's what you just said.
Oh, I was trying to prove his anti-Semitism.
I have.
You said, do you think it has something to do with his connections? And then you listed 9/11.
I meant like his connections in terms of people he associates with, not like his direct tie to that event.
That's propaganda, my friend.
You know what you're doing, and this is called
Propaganda to
listen.
what?
This is called nudging. What you just did. If that was done in the algorithm, just what John was talking about, you're nudging. I think you are actually a bad faith actor here, Robert.
I'm presenting more facts to you.
No,
to perhaps change
no.
your mind. If you call
I
that
think-
nudging or propaganda,
You need to back that up.
Yeah.
You need to back up any of the claims that you're making. And while you go and look for that, I just want to hone in on a piece of propaganda I just saw this morning. I wish I could send it to you, Liberal. So there was a video of a news story, I believe it was on Fox, and it's talking about the Muslim community patrol. And the way the video was presented, so these are like patrol cars in New York. And the way the video was presented was they're bringing this Muslim authority into New York, and New Yorkers are scared, and this has occurred in other countries around the world. And, you know, just a bunch of hyperbolic, wild claims. And, you know, I saw this and I was interested, okay, what is the actual story here? And I was able to trace back that this was a community patrol of about 30 people that started in 2017, I believe, right after the Christchurch, New Zealand attacks on mosques. And the purpose of this group was to add extra security to people while praying at mosques within New York. So just you know, an extra safeguard because of violence targeted violence being perpetrated on this community. And this piece of propaganda was trying to convince you that this is the ushering in of Sharia law within New York. So,
which is stupid.
It's ridiculous, you know, but that's the type of propaganda that's on these mainstream Zionistic media sources.
Well, and those media sources, by the way, and we just went through the CEOs of them, they're basically all run by Zionists.
But then there's also the double standard
Go figure.
issue, which is right. There's also the double standards issue where you've got this whole scenario where this guy Robert will say, "Oh, he had this association when he was, you know, going back many years. There's this one photo, all this sort of stuff." And it's like, well, how many photos do you need to see of Trump and Epstein before you go, hang on? So, I mean, the reality is that the thing about Mandami that I'll say is that people change, and so even if he was photographed with someone in his past that wasn't particularly appropriate, or he might have said some stupid things as a youngster, I look at what he's doing now and what he stands for now. What is it he stands for? Does he stand for the greed of a few, or is he actually trying to, you know, help his community? And so I guess the people made their decision on how they interpret it. Now it's up to him to deliver. Obviously, the proof will be in the pudding, but nonetheless. The idea that you can use this one random photo, this one silly association, especially in a political sense where people meet strangers all the time, and yet you've got this litany of emails and photographs where you've got the bubba sucking president, caught dead to rights in just about every fucking direction you turn. But no, that doesn't count. I mean, it's the double standard of it. It's the particular. Right. It's so ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I don't support the president, so.
No, I'm not saying you. I wasn't saying that was you. I'm saying in general terms, right? So this idea that that we have this sort of far-reaching, grasping desperation for a particular photo or Sharia law or whatever other cooked-up World Wrestling Federation narrative you want to come up with, right? Or we've actually got literal evidence. We've got emails. We've got what would be.
Well, don't look at those though. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Exactly,
don't look at that. You can't see the things that are in front of your face because we're the ones that's supposed to tell you that.
Things that would pass the burden of admission into evidence in a court of law, right? Not hearsay. Not gossip. Not indirect connections. The actual evidence that would be admissible in a court, and that doesn't count.
Yeah, real quick, Sarah, let me give a shout out to Sarah. Thank you for the $15. I appreciate that. Guys, if you want to support the show, that's $LibLoudmouth on Crash App and @LibLoudmouth on Vimeo. I do have a gifting goal. We have not even come close to it, really. So in about 30 minutes, I'll shut it down if we can't reach that. I do have a gifting goal up here of the donuts if you'd like to support me that way. And please also keep tapping. We haven't even reached 5K yet. We were over 100 people in here, so it shouldn't take you guys too long if you tap while you're listening. Sorry, go ahead, guys. I hadn't done a PSA yet since I started, so I figured it was time to do it.
Fair enough.
So, Robert, did you have anything, or Connor?
Yeah.
So, I don't think Connor has spoken either.
I mean, I agree with the sentiment for sure about like this kind of, I don't know, wanting
double standard.
Paint, double standards and paint narratives and try and encapsulate someone's views because of one piece of context. But I mean, again, this photo was taken somewhat recently. It was October 18th of this year, and the dude is Imam Shira Wahe, and he was actually an unindicted co-conspirator on the 1993 World Trade Center attack, not 9/11. So I apologize for that misinformation. And so I don't know. I feel like but I mean, I don't disagree again with the point, like, because Trump's obviously had dinner with Fuentes before, and that's not good either. So like, that's not necessarily indicative of what Mamdani thinks, but I mean, in a way it is, though. It's not crazy to say that Trump and Fuentes have some similar views too. You know?
No. I think you've got to look at the entire corpus of the man's words, right? Which is basically all of the things he said about what he wants to do in office. I mean, let's put it this way: if he's a private individual, does anyone give a fuck? No, they don't, provided he's not acting in a criminal manner. But he's gone into public life with a view to helping his community and helping the most vulnerable. And in doing that, he's put a target on his back for people who've got wealthy interests who don't want that glass ceiling in any way cracked or shattered, because they don't want to be exposed to the sort of thing that FDR put on them when he knocked them off for 50 years and created the middle class of America, the golden era of America, through those taxation policies that took the money off them. Now, the reality is that that's inverted since the 80s. We're back to where it was in the Gilded Age. Worse, much worse. And you've got a protection racket running against people like Mamdani and AOC and the rest of them, because they don't want them to get back through to do what will inevitably happen when people, get justice for the majority, which is
the issue is with
that's
those
really
types,
what's
though.
going. Now, hang on, that's what's going on. Let's not pretend.
Well,
otherwise.
go ahead and land your plane. Yeah, go ahead and land your plane.
Let's not pretend otherwise, right? That's really what's going on, and all the rest of it's a sideshow. It's part of the World Wrestling Federation narrative. The reality is that you can take, he met with this, he did, he associated with that, but the reality is he stood for something, and he's told us what he stands for. And he won an election on it. The people have spoken. So whatever you've got to say about that is moot. It's dead.
Well, I mean,
It's over.
I'm curious myself how it's all going to play out, and I'll acknowledge, like, I'm happy that some people do feel hope and optimism, which is nice. And I think that Mamdani and Trump are very similar in that sense, and like they could represent a kind of shifting narrative and policy kind of preference of the party.
That's why I'm excited about him.
And like I say, dude, I'm a populist, so I don't disagree rather with a lot of the reforms that you're discussing, like especially the tax rates and the redistribution of wealth and all that good stuff. And I don't think that people are advocating for working class people in Washington, in part because corporate interests are so misproportioned due to their obviously outsized influence monetarily. But like in that too, a lot of the other things that are important in governing, outside of like economics and populist reform, like I don't know, like social unity and cultural enrichment, like the Democrats, in my view, like don't have anything close to what I would support. So like I could never vote for a Mamdani or an AOC because of that alone. Like their vision and future for what the country should look like and represent is not in line with what I think it does.
Okay, well, let me play this video real quick. I want to get everybody's take on it, but Modern, I assume is how you say that, has a question also. So let me play that, and then we can get to that question.
Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special enforcement programs, doubling fines for hazardous violations and tripling them for conditions that are immediately dangerous. And when a really bad landlord, like this guy, refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill.
Watch next.
If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business.
He says, we're going to take over the building.
Patrick Bet David had a fucking aneurysm, and I was all about it. He about shut it. Oh my God! You mean I can't be a slumlord anymore? This guy went absolutely nuts. And you know what he says? He says, "Well, if it's like, these people should be taking care of their stuff, but if the tenants don't like it, they can just move somewhere else." This is what this fucking guy says, bro. If you're in a slum, if you're in a slum, you probably cannot afford to move. It's fucking expensive, especially in New York City, to move. So if you happen to live in a slum, you probably can't move. But Patrick Bet David doesn't care. You got to protect the slumlord and fuck the people who don't have fucking
Why would you
heat.
not then change the policy, though, to incentivize people to renovate and upkeep their apartments?
Because they don't own it. If you're a renter, you should not have to pay to upkeep.
No, I'm saying the
and-
landlord. I'm saying incentivize the
Oh.
landlord to upkeep and maintain their apartments.
What? Hang on. Why don't we
Incentivize. Wait. Pay somebody to do something they're already supposed to be doing.
It's not so much a pay. Like there's a very specific policy.
What's
I'm
the
speaking
incentive?
about.
To not go to jail? To not lose
if
your property?
As you increase the property value of the location, then obviously you pay a higher tax rate. And so in that, landlords are not incentivized to renovate their apartment unless they can get a tax write-off to offset that cost that led to the increase in property value. And so that's why a lot of the apartments are unrenovated and vacant, is because as opposed to paying the increased taxes that the new value of the property would require, they just leave it as is and pay lower taxes.
Or they should just fix their property so that people can not live in a fucking slum hellhole. Because that's the way you should do.
It's hard unless you want to put a weapon to their head. I don't think you're really going to have a
do you
successful campaign there.
Do you think that the government shouldn't, like, if the government says the city passes a law and says you have to do these things, all of these things has to be available for every tenant, right? As a tenant right. Like, if you don't have these things, then it's a problem. We're going to deal with it with the manager. Do you disagree with the city saying, since you haven't done these things and or you're not paying your fines, we're going to take your property? Do you disagree with that?
100% yes, I disagree.
Okay, so what about eminent domain? Do you disagree with eminent domain?
No, I think eminent domain is a legally defined thing, and because you're unhappy with the rent situation,
he's not just going to send the bikies in to take the property, is he? He's going to do it through laws and regulations.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was
talk about
coming.
ridiculous.
You look at listen, guys.
I don't think
okay,
you're
hold on. Hold on. No. Hold on, John. Yeah, no, Robert. You're just listen. That's eminent domain. If I don't pay my taxes, guess what happens? They take my property. That's been true
but
forever.
Who's violating the law in
If
this
I
situation?
have a city violation for not mowing my yard or not having something or having too many fucking cars in my driveway, the city can put a lien on my property. This is true in every fucking city, right?
You can, but that is not the precedent at all.
Sure it is. They do it all the time. What are you talking about?
I'm sure.
And you're
after
like,
many
I
offenses,
disagree
yes.
with that. I should be able to ignore everything that the city tells me to do and me just be fine and dandy with my property.
Hang on, Tim. Hang on, Tim.
But hold on. No, hold on. I'm not done yet. Done yet. But then on the opposite of that, when a corporation wants to build a parking lot, they can take your business, they can take your house, they can take your fucking local park so that they can put up a parking garage or a parking lot. And you're like, yeah, everything for corporations and fuck the people. That's what I'm hearing for. You literally sat up here and said you were a populist and then turned around and said, fuck populism.
Yeah,
no,
Tim,
I just don't believe
hang on, Robert. Let me have a shot here. Tim, I just wanted to say something to you. I think Robert is actually onto something here. I mean, he's right. We need to change the incentives. So rather than fine people for speeding, we should just send everyone a check every year for not speeding. How about we do that? If you don't speed, you get $500 a year for not speeding, and that's going to solve speeding, isn't it?
Honestly, dude, you might be right about that.
We'll incentivize speeding. We'll incentivize people not to speed. That'll work, won't it?
That's a really interesting concept. Like, if there's a way to track your speed, if you're able to maintain the speed limit
You're a fucking
throughout
idiot.
the year, and
Stop being a fucking idiot.
No, seriously, Johnny, you don't think that would actually help?
No. I was being sarcastic. You obviously can't
I
pick up
think
my
you
time.
kind of are underestimating people's attachment to money.
Hey, if you obey the law, well, here's what we can do: $10,000 check at the end of the year if you didn't commit a crime or weren't caught committing one.
Right, there you go.
Hey, that's UBI. You get
There you
UBI
go.
as long as you don't break the law. Donald Trump
Right,
would
there you
never
go.
get a check, for the record. Let's just be clear about that. He would never get a check.
That's actually not a terrible thing. Like, the only thing that deters people from committing crime now is the consequence of prison, right? That's obviously
This
not
guy is a
super
rhetorical
deterrent.
pretzel.
Okay,
But if
real
you
quick,
had some
I'm
sort
gonna
of
go.
incentive for not
thank you,
committing a
John.
crime.
Thank you for being up, man.
It's
I'll
very
talk
late, mate.
I'll talk at you later.
Cool, mate. We'll speak soon. Cheers.
All right, man. See you. Well, real quick now, Robert.
Hey, guys.
I know you want to speak, but I did. Modern had a question like long time ago.
I'm being.
We may no. You're fine. We may end up going backwards, but Modern. I apologize. Thank you for being patient, though. Go ahead with your question.
Well, I can add on to what we're currently talking about. The question I had is kind of way off topic.
Sure.
So,
well, go ahead, because I don't think you've spoken yet. So have at it. Feel free.
So my question is, if Trump is able to issue the National Guard at his own volition now, right? Like we're seeing him issue the National Guard into DC to clean up crime, Portland, Chicago, all these different cities for one reason or another, whether it's crime, illegal immigration, whatever. Why didn't he use the same powers that he has now to issue the National Guard to prevent Jan 6th from happening? And the common explanation that I receive is that Nancy Pelosi denied the request, but he doesn't need their permission now. So why do we place the blame on Democrats on Jan 6th when it's clear that Trump has always had this sole discretion to issue the National Guard whenever he feels like it?
Well, and he controls directly the National Guard in D.C., so he could have done that. Yeah,
exactly.
Them claiming it was Nancy Pelosi is stupid. I'm not sure when we were ever talking about that, though, and that is certainly off topic. But, I mean, it's an interesting point either way. Does anybody want to address that?
And if not, I can elaborate. I have another something else I can elaborate on the topic we were just talking about if this is too far off.
Sure. And guys, for the record, the live will end in 15 minutes. I haven't reached the live goal for today, and if we don't, that's fine. We'll just come back tomorrow and try it again. So if you want to help me reach the live goal, that's at $LibLoudMouth on Crash App and at LibLoudMouth on Vimeo. Those of you who watch, you know what the live goal is. So, yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Modern. You were saying something?
Yeah, so that's an open question I have on that. But to come back to like all of these different, to come back to New York City and the rent stabilization, I think, Robert, what you miss in the context of what Mamdani is trying to do is that he's not talking about incentivizing these folks to update and modernize their apartments with like stainless steel everything or gold plated handles or anything like that, right? What he's trying to make sure is that these units have the basic rights provided to their tenants, right? Running water, quality air, things that are considered ADA, like ramps and all of the above. We're not talking about the luxuries. And I would agree with you. Yeah, if we wanted to make New York City pretty and polished, sure, incentivize them to do that. But what we're talking about is enforcing basic tenant rights. I'll land my plane.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert, did you want, I believe you may be the only opposition here, so did you want to rebut that? 45 seconds, go ahead.
Sure, I can just quickly do that. Essentially, I mean, I don't think that it's alleged that people are living in inhospitable conditions in New York City. The argument is that there's a lot of vacant properties. And my argument is that in order to actually make life more affordable, you have to incentivize home development. And the only way to do that is to make it profitable to own a home. And I know it's not very populist to say that, but I guess I'm like a capitalist populist in the sense of a more personal obligation to society, in the sense of like I'll personally take less on a deal as a business owner. That's kind of what I mean by populist, not like so much government takeover of stuff.
So I don't know where
Bradley, thank you for the $10. Bradley, thank you. Sorry, go ahead, TikTok or Cabin.
I don't know where you get this notion that there's a huge vacancy problem within New York. Like that, I don't believe that that's true. But regardless, if you're thinking about it from protecting the business owners, and if you ignore what Modern was saying, basically what you're advocating for is the ability to be able to exploit people off their need for shelter and livable circumstances in order to do good business deals, right? Like that if that is unfettered And if it's not regulated, then that's what ends up happening. And that is what has happened historically in New York, which is how New York ended up in the situation it is, with so many unlivable conditions and, you know, exorbitant rent fees that nobody can afford. So that needs to be regulated. And that's what Mamdani is proposing, which is freaking out the establishment.
Yeah, because they don't get to just exploit people and just, you know. Oh, I don't know what that is. Elroy, you got some like background noise, sound like a radio or something. Now, DJ K, I haven't heard you yet. Would you like to go ahead?
I came up actually to address your green screen, if that's okay.
Sure, go for it.
So I'm just gonna leave the who is the deep state. We can come to that. So do they control our media? I would say yes. You look at actually who controls or the CEOs of like Comcast, Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, you many other media outlets, right? And you know they all have something in similar, right? They all come from Jewish families. So these CEOs are from Jewish families. You look at social media, who has been the ones that are actually coming out stating that they are going to buy social media, and they did, like TikTok. You got the Ellison buying TikTok. You look at how Netanyahu came out and said that TikTok is a threat. And so is X. So they need to get control over it. When you look at, you know, do they control our politicians? One prime example that just happened yesterday, we see the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, in Israel, telling the Jewish people there that he has served them as the mayor. He has served them as the mayor, right? So again, that leads us back to the Jews. So for me, who is the deep state? I honestly believe that they are the ones that are controlling all of our politicians. They control all three branches of government, or they have influence over all three branches of government. So that's what I wanted to
Now, you must have just come in when you requested up. Would you say that's true?
I came in and I requested up. Yeah, brother.
It's interesting because I had already played the video of Eric Adams saying that,
nice. Mm-hmm.
and I had already gone through, and for the record, to anybody that oh my God, they always say that you know, Zionists control everything, but here's Robert Iger, Austrian
Disney.
Jewish, yeah, that's Disney. David Zaslav, current CEO of Warner Bros., born into a Jewish family. You've got Brian Roberts, Jewish family, and they're all in the Northeast too, and I believe he's the CEO of Comcast. And then you've got, who's this? Ellison, David Ellison.
Yeah, Paramount.
Yep. Italian and Jewish heritage. So what you're saying is correct. And it's not fucking conspiracy when you go and look this up and it's fact, right? This is just truths.
I think it's
So-
really important to distinguish Zionism and the Zionist project from Jewish people, because there are Jewish voices for peace. There are a lot of prominent Jewish voices that are very anti the Zionist project.
Right. So,
Okay.
so I think,
do you
can
do believe that any of those CEOs are against Israel, Kevin?
I mean, I'm not defending them, but I think that what's condemning to them is not necessarily that they're Jewish, but more so that they have a financial hand and a pushing of the Zionist project. That is the evidence that I use to condemn them, not the fact that they're Jewish.
Well,
if that
so
makes
can I respond to that
Sure.
real quick? Yeah. Okay. So I understand what you're saying, Cabin, right? But like he was stating, the facts are the facts, right? And it is not up to me to sit there and say, okay, the 1% of the Jews actually don't support Zionism, right? Because for me, even though somebody could be anti-Zionist, right, like Jewish Voices for Peace, they still actually support the existence of a Israeli state, right? So to me, that is the same as Zionist. So for me, I will continue to say that I believe, right, that it is the Jews that are the deep state. They are the ones that control our media. We can look at even the Republican Jewish coalition that just happened a week and a half ago, where you have Mark Levin, which is a radical Jew. You have Randy Fine, which is in Congress, another radical Jew.
Now,
you
when
have
you
Josh
say
Hannah-
radical Jew, what exactly does that mean? Because I mean, I actually agree with Cabin's premise, because Jewish people, actually, just people who have heritage from this area, and I'm not talking about the Europeans that ended up over there, you know. I do believe that it is a little bit dangerous to do that because you're going to end up just having people attack other people just because they look a certain way or whatever. And I think that's fucked up.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So let me just answer the first part, and then I'll go to the second question, right,
Sure.
about the attacking. So when it comes to radical Jews, right, radical Jews are ones that think they are superior. It's Jewish supremacy. The ones that feel like they are superior to
That
everybody else, right?
is true. Yes.
And the fact that they believe that they can go out and call, like for instance, when you have Josh Hammer publicly calling for the neutralization of Tucker Carlson, literally calling for the neutralization, unaliving Tucker Carlson. When you have Bill Eichmann, right, coming out and threatening, even conservative Christians such as Candace Owen, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Theo Vaughn, where they're having to come out and literally state that I am not shmuicidal. That to me is radical Judaism. When you have the head of the Beitar USA, which is radical as hell extremist Jews in the United States of America,
Well, let me ask.
finish this 10 seconds, and then you can ask. They actually, so the head of Beitar USA, right, which is an extremist Jewish movement here, they called for a pager attack on Memdani. That is what to me is radical Judaism at its finest. To be
What
quite
was
honest
it
with
that
you.
called for the pager attack? You said guitar or Qatar?
Beitar, Betar USA.
Wow, pager attack.
Yeah, I have the video. If you want, I can play it. It's up to you.
I'm looking it up. Let's see. Beitar's pager campaign.
A pro-Israel
Yeah, look at how they're celebrating
Wow.
a tea attack.
to critics of Israel.
Hold on. What the fuck is wrong? Oh my God.
You know what the pager
Well,
attack
I was gonna.
is, right,
So
liberal?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, where? What I was gonna ask you is, do you think this is a result of the religion?
I do believe that it is the supremacy, that they do believe that they are chosen, right? And they believe that everybody else is beneath them and that we will all become their slaves. So I do believe it's a result of the religion. Absolutely. I do believe that. I honestly believe that radical Judaism is a threat to the United States of America.
So let me look at this.
A pro-Israel U.S. organization is handing out pagers to critics of Israel. A reference to the explosion.
Wow.
Yeah, they're caught on footage, bro, on audio and video footage, threatening Zoran Mamdani. They even were sitting there gloating about the fact that they threatened the UN member Gutierrez, Antonio Gutierrez. They admitted to threatening him. It's absolutely insane. These people think they're above the law. You even have them coming out stating that
That's
international law does not apply to Jews. Like,
Well,
what the actual F, man?
So
Well, Israel isn't a member of the ICJ, so.
I mean that is. I'm going to look more into that, but that's fucking wild to me. And you can't criticize that because you're an anti-Semite if you do.
Yeah, I'm not worried about being
That's-
called an anti-Semite.
No, I'm
at
just
this point,
saying,
man.
like, this is what they've historically done is just, anybody that criticizes that. And I want to point out, guys, and I did a TikTok video about this. In the Bible is the most anti-Semitic tropes you'll ever find because it lays out that Israel will, suck the wealth of nations and control the nations, and any nation that comes against Israel will be destroyed. So then you got to ask yourself, is that religion the one pushing this, and they're trying to create the prophecies by going through all these things to then have the same outcome that the Bible talks about?
And then just go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I just wanted to add on to this conversation. I mean, I don't know if this is clear from what I've said already, but Zionism is disgusting to me. I don't support that whatsoever. I was listening yesterday to Matt Bernstein's podcast, and he was speaking to a few other creators and journalists that were Jewish. And the topic of the episode was the Jewish fear industrial complex. And this is deeply saddening to me. Some of the examples that they were using was Deborah Messing, a liberal Zionist, on Mamdani's election night, put out like 90 tweets about hyperbolically that she's, at death's door in a state of fear for her life and so this pushing of that Jewish people are under attack, and any kind of form of anti-Semitism, unfortunately, perpetuates Zionism. That is the tool that ends up getting used to justify what the state of Israel does. And so that's why I think it's important to distinguish and pull that out and name the propaganda machine that is there to convince Jewish people that they are under attack and ultimately push more people towards Zionism.
Right. So, Cabin, I will respond to this, right? So whether call it Jews, right? If I was to say, let's say I just replaced it with Zionists, to me, there's a difference, right? But I will say this. They're still going to push this anti-Semitism rhetoric, right? Like we've seen in New York after Mamdani had won the election. They were stating that there was somebody that's painted a swastika on some building. I think it was a temple or something like that. And Mamdani came out, condemned the attack, saying this is a safe place for Jews. But what did it come out to be? That it was actually a Jewish person that went and painted this swastika on the buildings. So whether I sit there and try to censor and fight against anti-Semitism, which is not my role, it's not on me to fight anti-Semitism, right? They're the ones that are committing the G-side in Palestine, all in the name of the Jewish name and the Jewish army, right? Going around with that star on their uniform, literally carving the star in Palestinians' faces, and they continue to push this. So for me, when they actually run a poll, right? I believe it was Penn State University ran a poll. Over 1,000 people were in the study. 80%, 82% of Jewish Israelis, 82% of them supported the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. 47% of them supported the annihilation of Palestinians. So for me, I know how to differentiate between Zionists and Jews, right? I believe the Jews are the ones that are committing these atrocities. 95% of them support what's going on in Palestine. Now, when you look at Zionism and Zionists, right, they're the ones that are giving cover to the Jews that are perpetrating these crimes. They are the ones that are funding it. They are the ones that are supplying them with the booms and everything else. So that's where I stand on it. I'll be honest with you.
Hey, JK, I just want to say, like, what I just said wasn't actually directed specifically to what you were saying, because
I
I
know,
agree
I get it.
with a lot
know
of,
you do.
you know what I mean? And I was actually saying the same thing before you came up. I was saying that Mamdani is committed to fighting anti-Semitism, and that doesn't get publicized, but what does is a bunch of propaganda and fear campaigning. And so like I agree with you.
So can I ask you a quick question, Cabin? Robert, give me 30 seconds, Robert. I'm sorry, brother. So Cabin, let me ask you: Is it considered to be anti-Semitic to say that when we look at the media, that the majority of the media is run by Jewish population?
I mean, I think that that's just factual.
Okay, good, fantastic.
You know,
So facts can't be anti-Semitic, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't.
Your narrative's not
that's
proven
what
by
I'm
that,
saying
though.
is that I'm not accusing you of that. I'm
Oh, I
not
know, it's okay.
supporting that at all. Like you didn't hear what I was talking about before you came in, and that, I mean, I have the same issue as you. I was talking. I would right before you came, I was telling everybody about this propaganda video that I had seen about the Muslim community.
In Dearborn?
The MCP, the community, the Muslim community group that was dedicated towards protecting mosques and prayer spaces after Christchurch, New Zealand, and this piece of propaganda that I saw that was trying to say that, like, this was a new thing and Muslims were trying to usher in some kind of Sharia law, and this was on Fox News. So like that stuff is disgusting to me. That propaganda is disgusting to me, and you know, I think we're on the same side about this,
Well,
but
I real quick, I want to say we've got less than 2 minutes left, guys. We haven't met the live goal, not really even close. We're about 3/4 of the way there, or a quarter of the way there. So if we want the live to continue, then I do have a gifting goal here, and you can my profile has all my stuff there. I don't want the conversation to end, but this is how I've started to run my show now. So I want to point something out real quick that I just did. If I can actually, this fucking thing is fucked up on me. Cloudflare, I don't know if you guys heard, but Cloudflare this morning got fucked up. So I asked ChatGPT, and Israel has pumped tens of millions of dollars into training ChatGPT for its own means. Let me show you. I've already proven that the majority of the big six are run by, Zionists, if you will. Right, but when you ask ChatGPT, do Jewish people run the largest media corporations in the U.S.? No. The idea that Jewish people run the largest media corporations is a stereotype, not a factual description of the media landscape. Who actually owns the biggest U.S. media companies? Comcast. Majority owner Roberts family. Brian Roberts. Comcast is publicly traded. The Roberts family is Jewish ethnically, but Comcast is not a Jewish-run media empire. Do you see what it's doing there?
Yep.
Is that fucking weird?
Yes. It's manipulating the information, bro.
yeah, and Palantir,
right. And now they've basically bought everything. And Netanyahu himself, let me pull this clip up again. I played it earlier, but I'll play it again. He's just openly and outright calling it a war and saying this is a weapon of war.
What we have.
And here, I'll play this. I'm sure most of you have probably seen that, but for those of you that haven't, this is important, I think.
What to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers, that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time, but we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot, and I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends, or those who could be our Jewish our friends.
Yeah, so we want to give direction to everybody, basically, is what he's saying. We got to give direction to our non-Jewish friends. And I want to point out that after him saying that, we got to go after X. Yesterday, they cut off Hebrew translations on X because, and let me just show you, I've got the notification right here, Grok. Let me put this up here because I had asked it, somebody had posted about this right here. X deleted Hebrew translations because Jews were calling for G-side on this app without getting suspended. So it says Hebrew is not currently supported for translation. If this isn't Hebrew, select a language to translate from. And somebody asked Grok, translation from Hebrew was disabled because it often amplified inflammatory or policy violating content, like calls for violence to a global audience via inaccurate or literal renditions. So instead of removing the content, they removed the goddamn translations. So I asked, has X turned Hebrew translation back on? No, Hebrew translation on X remains disabled. It was paused to prevent automated tools from literally rendering idiomatic expressions as calls for violence, which spike global misinterpretations. So they've already done it. Like, this is a serious fucking problem, y'all. And I think I look at Trump
What
as
is
this
what's true media, liberal? What's a good source to reach out or to look at to get accurate
independent media. You can't corporations. You can't trust them. Corporate media.
Well, how can you trust individuals more?
Because I look Kyle Kulinski, for example. He doesn't take any sponsorships. He operates solely on people who donate to his program.
Right.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with his ability to report accurate information?
Because he's not part of an
He's not-
infrastructure, like I was telling you earlier, Robert, that suppresses. There are so many examples of journalists that have tried to write stories in support of Palestinians that have lost their job because they're under a suppressive.
So I cannot say that I think that's an accurate statement. I see so much pro-Palestinian content in very modern Western publications. I mean, need I
been going
Thomas
on
Friedman
for
at the New York
years,
Times? Thomas Friedman talks about his support for Palestinians and his resentment toward the Israeli state all the time.
Can you repeat the last person, the last media?
Thomas Friedman.
Thomas Friedman. So would you say that, overwhelming it is anti-Palestinian, the media? Like when we look at legacy media and so on, they actually provided cover for the G side that's happening in Palestine.
I do not agree with you at all.
Really? So so when we even let's just take BBC for instance, right? Let's just take BBC, just one media source, right? So BBC, although maybe they have been reporting the truth a little bit lately, but why is it that there was a whistleblower, right? A whistleblower that came out that stated that they were instructed not to push any pro-Palestinian information, that it was all to be pushed through the Israeli side, pro-Israel. And after this information was leaked, two of the C-suite personnel actually had to resign due to that. Then you look at CNN, right? We can look at CNN. And when we go through CNN, everything that comes out about Israel has to actually go through a unit in the IDF to be approved before it is aired. So majority, I would definitely disagree with you in the sense when you're saying it's not a majority. It is an overwhelming majority of media that suppressed pro-Palestinian
That's right.
information. And there's
Do you
no
actually
denying
watch
it.
CNN or no?
No, I don't watch mainstream media at all.
Well, let me just tell you this, all right? I watch Newsnight with Abby Phillip every night. It's kind of nerdy, but it's true. I watch it every night. And the amount of people I've heard on that program go on and dish Israel and talk about how bad Zionism is actually infinite. So your narrative that somehow pro-Palestinian views are not represented in Western media is false.
No.
They aren't represented.
They are
correctly.
traditionally a pro-Israel.
Yeah,
Give me a second.
I don't know what you're talking about.
America is
well,
obviously
you're lying.
pro-Israel, traditionally a
You're
pro-Israel
lying.
country.
You're lying.
Undeniable.
Robert.
But
You're lying, Robert.
that does not mean that we restrict points of view in this country either.
And I want to point out, real quick, guys, I want to point out that Robert earlier made a statement and purposely omitted the most important part. He was like, well, Iran has unalived our people, our soldiers. They've attacked our bases, and purposely omitted the fact that that was in retaliation to us unaliving them or attacking them first. So when Robert speaks, you have to take what he says as if it was coming out of his anus, because that's basically what he's been doing the whole
Why
time.
are you being so nice to me a second ago and now you're being so mean?
Well, I'm just pointing out in a blunt way so that everybody understands what you're doing.
Dude, what I said was not wrong.
Oh,
You can say what you want.
don't be mean. Don't be mean to me. I'm just sitting up here lying to your fucking face.
Right, so I didn't lie, though. That's the point.
Yes,
Iran
you are
has
lying.
unalived Americans. That's not a lie.
No, Robert, it is disingenuous to say Iran has attacked our military bases.
It is not. I'm not applying any genuineness.
That is disingenuous.
I'm just making a
bullshit.
factual
Because the fact is that they did so in response to us unaliving their people and attacking them.
Do you know
that
who
is
shot
a
the
fact.
first shot, or what? Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
Donald Trump did.
Well, no, I'm
both
saying that
times.
the issues with Iran have obviously superseded Donald Trump, so we can go back and
Well,
forth.
the problem, Robert, the problem
I was
with
just saying
Iran-
that Iran has unalived Americans. That's all I
No,
said.
no,
I
no,
wasn't
but-
attaching any value or any other thing. That's just a fact. That's true. That happened.
Okay, you know who attacked us completely unprovoked? Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit up here and you just ignored that part. And whenever you talk
No, I
about
didn't. I acknowledge
Iran,
that.
whenever
I
you talk
acknowledge
about Iran, right, but you still support Israel. Yeah, you have an issue with
60 years
Iran.
ago,
Hold
bro.
on. You have an issue with Iran doing a response to us. You have to take issue with Iran doing a response to us. And you said that's 60 years ago. You know what wasn't 60 years ago? When Israel sent in a fucking spy to steal our national security documents. Jonathan Pollard, you ever heard of him? Many, many others, for the record, that have been busted by Israel or by the U.S. stealing shit for Israel, and they just cover it up and nobody ever talks about it. That wasn't 60 years ago. That was recent.
Well, people do talk about it. I don't think that you guys are. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you know, but like people agree with your narrative. Like Israel is not popular in this country right now. Like you do know that, right?
Why are they not popular? Why are they not popular, Robert?
Well, I'm sure the war in Gaza has a lot to do with it.
Well, yeah, could it be? Well, it's not a war.
Or
in the Holocaust, by the way. That's neither here nor there. But Robert, could it be that the people have actually woken up, right? Not only because of what's happening in Gaza, and let's not forget the West Bank, right? Last month there was actually over 250 settler attacks unprovoked, right? These Jewish extremists unprovokedly attacking Palestinians, okay? The highest month on record since the UN has been keeping track of it. But let's say that the Americans have actually woken up to the influence, right, that this foreign nation has on all three branches of our government. That is possibly the reason as well.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
think-
going to shut it down.
Liberal,
Didn't
thanks,
meet the live goal, so we'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate all of your time. Thank you so much. Peace.
Have a great one, buddy.